And usually after like, it takes like 5 minutes for like people start trickling in. I'll wait for the first comment. Okay, I see 4 people. Do you see how many people are on the stream? Hey, everybody, thanks for joining. I have Noel. He's a CPA, and I actually met him through another live stream. We have friends in common. So I asked him if he wanted to be on a stream because I was doing a video on GoPro. It's going to be posted in like 2-3 days. And I was really struggling with, hey, Ben, hey, Ed. I know we talked about deferred tax assets before, but the way they did it was just, it wasn't too clear to me. And I don't want to talk about it because everybody's going to start leaving if I start talking about this because it's pretty dry and boring and hard to explain. But Noel, just give us a couple of minutes. Tell us about yourself, your channel, so everybody can meet you.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. My name's Noel. Scott, thank you for the nice, warm introduction, and thank you for having me on your channel. So I have a YouTube channel. It's basically my name, Noel B. Lorenzana, CPA, Ask an Accountant in parentheses. So I talk a lot about tax issues that people are having with delayed tax refunds, problems with the IRS. But more recently, I have a focus on simplifying taxes for entrepreneurs. So I like to help entrepreneurs, small business owners, navigate the complicated world of taxes and compliance, and even QuickBooks, getting their books done, getting them done right, things of that nature. I restarted my YouTube channel in about May of 2021, and that was right after tax season. So as you all probably know, tax season ends at April 15th generally. But last year they extended it out a month to May 15. And it was just a really rough, grueling year for myself and a lot of other tax professionals, mainly because of all the tax law changes that were coming through, after tax season had already started. So it caused a lot of headaches and frustrations for tax preparers and tax professionals. So at the end of tax season, I was just done with taxes, and I figured, you know what, let me try something else. I, like all of you, I watched a lot of YouTube, and I stumbled upon this video by, I don't know if you know who Erica Kullberg is. She's a lawyer, and she makes a lot of videos. One video in particular was about how she made $100,000 in her first year on YouTube, and it kind of resonated with me. I figured, I watched the video, and I watched her other videos as well. And I just thought to myself, she's really good. She knows what she's talking about. But I really felt like I could do what she's doing. And if I could do a fraction of what she was, bringing in her first year, I figured, let me give it a shot. I had tried YouTube in 2015. I didn't know what I was doing. I made videos that really didn't go anywhere. After 30 subscribers and maybe, 15 videos, no, maybe a dozen videos, I just hung it up and said, forget it. It's not for me. But I figured I'd give it a shot. And I think I've had some pretty good success with my channel so far. I grew it from 30 subscribers to almost 2,200. So
yeah, that's really good. And you just started in May of 2021, you said, right?
Yeah, that's when I restarted my channel.
That's good for 8 months. I started in May of 2020. Hey, everybody, Impossible Stock News. Make sure you sub to Justin, Impossible Stock News, great channel. Justin, last week we were talking about Sundial, and I was like, "Where's Justin?" I mean, it would have been perfect last week to talk about Sundial. So Noel, Impossible Stock News, he was on a live stream a few weeks back. He has a channel also. He's really focused on Sundial growers. the fluffy green stuff, he calls it. But if you have a channel, let me know in the chat and I could mention it. Yeah, I was telling Noel, my channel is focused on stocks, finance, but my angle is to really focus on accounting, because I think that was kind of a missing piece in almost every channel I watch. It's like they don't really ever talk about anything financial accounting related. It's almost like maybe they don't understand it that well to talk about it. And I just thought it would be interesting to have a CPA. Do you ever get questions, Noel, about like anything stock related about a company, and people say, why did this happen? Like, why did they take a loss this year? Or is it just mainly focused on personal accounting?
You mean questions about publicly traded companies regarding stock investments?
Yeah. Did you ever get like questions, accounting questions about like public companies?
Not really. I don't get those a lot. I'm not sure why that is. I think there's enough information out there. And not a lot of people, from what I've experienced, really want to dig into the financials, to actually crunch the numbers. Accountants really don't want to do that either. I remember an old CPA associate who I was working with when I was just starting out. He told me he never read financial statements. He never analyzed the numbers. If he would look at a prospectus or a 10K, what he would do is, look at the opinion letter, make sure they had an unqualified opinion. And if there was anything he wanted to know, he would read the footnotes. Because he said if there's anything worth discovering, it would be in the footnotes.
Yeah. And that makes sense. You really don't need to tab through the financials like I do. But I'm telling you, when you start trying to really understand the financials, even though some things I talk about are kind of irrelevant, but when you start to really dig into it, you learn so much about the company.
Sure.
So much more than you would have if you didn't look at the financials. So that's really a big benefit. Because when I talk about what's something I talk about? Like, if I try to explain accrual accounting and they don't pay the taxes reported on the income statement is not the taxes they pay. It's the taxes according to GAAP. They actually pay the taxes according to the IRS. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not like you really need to know that to figure out if you want to invest in the company or not. But like, once you start understanding all these things in the financials, you start to really understand how the company works.
Sure. Absolutely.
And you understand it on a different level. So that's really the big benefit. But I do explain a lot of things that you don't really need to know, but it does help kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah, most definitely. I've watched your videos, and the way you dive into the financials and analyze them for each of your companies that you do that for is quite impressive. Have you ever thought about offering like a stock fact sheet, and you could put that behind a paywall, basically summarizing, maybe for somebody who doesn't want to sit through the whole video, basically your analysis and your conclusion, buy, sell, or hold, whatever that may be?
Well, what do you mean?
Oh, okay. So you take a stock and you analyze it, right?
Yeah.
And you summarize it on your video as you go. I'm saying, because what they used to do in the past, and I've seen these, you'd have these stock analysts. They'd basically put down their analysis, maybe just the highlights on a summary, and maybe a summary of what the company does, highlights of their financials, and your opinion as to if you think it's, a good buy at the price, something you would hold or something that you would consider holding off on or potentially selling short? And putting that on, maybe just on a simple PDF document, put it behind a paywall, you sell them for $1 a piece. I think you do really well.
Yeah, on my Excel file, I have every video I did. Like this shows these just in 2022. These are the tickers I've done, and then the result. Whether I say it's a buy or a sell, and then like something like that, like a high level summary of.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Maybe one sentence.
Yeah, I think
I could do that.
Or even I don't know if they're still popular, but newsletters. I've subscribed to the occasional newsletter throughout my adult life. Those have some have been better than others, but we were talking earlier about monetizing our channels, and some there is another idea. Yeah,
no. Yes, people have asked me something similar, and maybe I just actually started a Patreon today. I just created a Patreon just like an hour or two ago. So maybe I could do that if you're a member of the Patreon. I can give you the crib notes or the cheat sheet. So I usually do a couple of raffles every live stream. And you get a $20 Amazon gift card. I email it to you if you win. And I see 15 people in the chat, but I only have 10 names here. So let me know if you want to be in. You have to make a comment so I know you're here. And the way it works is I have a randomizer, and it picks a number. And if you get picked twice, you win. So I'm going to do the first number. So once I change something on the screen, this number will change. 8, J-Boy. You got to get picked twice. Whoever gets picked twice wins. I'll do another one. Say it. Brad, you're here, Brad. Yeah. Just say something, Anthony. You could still do it. The number is going to change every time I do something, but it doesn't count until I say RAM. But you're probably in a busy season, right, Noel? Because it's January, so it's probably getting pretty busy for you.
It's starting. It's starting. So when you asked me if I wanted to do the live stream with you yesterday, what do you call it? I wasn't quite ready, but if I didn't do it today, it wasn't going to happen until after tax season because I am getting quite busy, as other tax professionals are.
Yeah, and I usually have a guest. I have a guest booked for like the next 6 weeks, but somebody canceled for today's.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to just do it solo, which is no big deal. But since we got in touch, it worked out that you want to do it. Okay, I'm going to do the randomizer again. 1, Ed won before. I'll do the randomizer again, but it has to change. If it's 1 again, it doesn't count. It has to at least change. 6, Brad. Brad became a member last live stream, a member of the channel. Everybody, yeah, I'm sorry I removed the $10 level from my channel, and I sent an email. I made a post because I created that level where you could pay $10 a month, and I'll do a video of your choice. But it was getting a little difficult to keep doing the videos of all the requests, plus the videos I needed to do on my own. So it was getting a little stressful. So I just figured I'll just remove that. But you could always just ask me to do a ticker, like in a video, and eventually I'll do it. Who else has a portfolio that's been getting destroyed lately? My app seller is getting killed. I should have invested in Waiter. I'm so stupid. I don't know. Ben, are you still here? That was so stupid. But I guess if we always say, like, when we lose money in a stock, we get upset, but when we make money, we feel like we're geniuses. So it could always, you never know. Okay, I'll do the randomizer again. 9, Justin. Okay, I'll do another randomizer. 8, that's it. J-Boy, he was the first one to get a pick. And now he undid it. So J-Boy, email me at this email address, and I'll email you a $20 Amazon gift card. Yeah, I'm doing Zim. Zim pays like an 18% dividend. That's crazy. I have a sub who's coming to my house. Isn't that crazy? He's coming to my house to watch me do a video. It's $10,000, and you could come to my house for one day and watch me do a video. I'm joking. He's not paying anything. I'm joking. I know him. It's Ben. I know him personally, so he's just gonna stop by. But that should be a level. Maybe in the future I'll have that. Yeah. Everybody say congrats. Good job. So Noel does taxes for individuals and companies, like small businesses, right?
Right.
You probably don't do many. Do you do big businesses ever, or is it mainly just small LLC type?
Mostly smaller businesses. Maybe 1 employee, or definitely less than 5 employees.
Yeah. You see, the randomizer does work. I'll show you. 3, 13. You see 13. It catches everything. I set it up where it automatically catches. Does anybody remember when I was talking about deferred tax assets? There's somebody here that was into it. Probably nobody. So Noel, I'll try to. So a deferred tax asset is kind of, it's like a tax credit you carry on your balance sheet that you can use to offset future gains. So if you have a deferred tax asset, you'll pay less taxes sometime in the future. If you have a deferred tax liability, you'll pay more taxes sometime in the future.
Right.
And it comes about based off of the difference between the way you account for taxes using GAAP and the way the IRS accounts for taxes. It all evens out over time, pretty much. Is that a good way to just explain what those are?
Yeah, no, I think you've summed that up very well.
And what confused me a little bit, GoPro passed through a valuation allowance. So if you're a startup business, you're generally losing money in the early years. Almost all startups lose money initially. And then you're not going to ever get money. The IRS isn't going to send you money because you lost money. What you do is you build up these tax credits to apply when you start making money in a future year. But if you come to the conclusion it's unlikely you'll be able to use those tax credits in the future because you just don't see yourself ever making enough profit to offset all those tax credits. you can pass through a valuation allowance, which is more of a one-time adjustment. Is anybody following this? It's okay if you're not. Is that clear? Are you familiar with valuation allowance? Or I know it may not be as a common topic to talk about.
Yeah, honestly, it's not a term that I've come across recently, maybe in college, but it's not something.
Yeah, that's the thing. You learn these things when you initially like take your exams, but after that, unless you come across it, okay, makes sense. So, I emailed GoPro, and I'll let you know what they say. And I explained it in the GoPro video, but I don't think it's going to be super clear. I think I explained it okay, but it's not going to be super clear because it's just not an easy topic to understand. So they pass through a valuation allowance, and I showed you actually on their financials on the report where it talks about it on their quarterly report. Let me show you. And that's the thing. You'll never learn this stuff on any other YouTube channel, and I'm not trying to. It's just so. It's just not likely to come up. So like if you looked at, this is why it's important. Like if you look on Yahoo Finance for GoPro, you see in 2018 and 2019 and trailing 12 months, they had around the same amount of revenue, right? 1.1 billion. But look at their net profit. It was negative, then a positive 362 million. It looks odd, right? Like they had the same amount of revenue, but they had such a big profit in the trailing 12 months. The reason they had such a big profit is because they passed through this massive tax credit of $280 million. So it's not cash. It's just accounting profit. But that's why I always say, look at the statement of cash flows. They did generate a good amount of cash flow, but much less than their net income, because their net income was 362 million. They generated, because you see, you minus out the deferred tax asset.
So Scott, if I could jump in. So basically they moved that deferred tax asset off of the balance sheet and onto the income statement as either an expense deduction or a deduction to revenues.
So that would make sense if they did that. And that's why I emailed them. But what they did was they posted it to their balance sheet. So this is what I think happened when I said I think I figured out. I think because when you pass through a valuation allowance on a deferred tax asset, it'll bring down your net income. It'll make your net income negative, because a valuation allowance is a contra asset account. So it's contra to a deferred tax asset. So it works the opposite of a deferred tax asset. What happened in this case is they reversed the valuation allowance. So it appears that and I don't think I explained this well in the video because I just got it yesterday. They reversed the initial valuation allowance because they thought they wouldn't have enough profit in future years. Jewel, thank you. That's really nice of you. 14 Canadian dollars. So that's pretty much what they did. They passed through a valuation allowance in prior years. Then they reversed the valuation allowance in this reporting period because they felt they would be able to have enough profit in the future to use those tax credits. It's is that clear or? I did. What's that?
Oh, I just said somewhat. I wanted to say hi to Jewel and Arit. How are you guys doing?
But let's not. Yeah, it's. I think that's what it is, but it's not, because if you do look on their third quarter balance sheet, if you looked on the second quarter balance sheet, they don't have a deferred tax asset. Now they do have a deferred tax asset reported. Maybe watch my video on GoPro. I show a lot of like pictures from the report, but this is not that fun of a topic. Yeah, thank you, Jewel. That's really nice. You're always sending money. I appreciate it. Yeah, if anybody feels they've received any value from watching my videos, feel free to donate. It takes a lot of time, and the more people who donate or watch my videos, the more of these types of live streams I can do, and I could give out more money. Because I used to have a channel years ago, and I used to give out thousands of dollars. Like literally, like there might be some people who from my old channel here, I gave out like sometimes in a stream $1,000. But so if we could build up to that, that would be cool. Yeah, Noel was the person who was supposed to do the live stream, and then she canceled on me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, not that. I kind of asked her last minute, and then to do the live stream. So I should have, but it was her mother's birthday. Happy birthday to your mother. So it worked out. Noel was able to do a backup.
Excellent. So Scott, let me ask you, if you don't mind talking about it, what sectors of the market do you like right now for 2022, if you haven't already discussed that?
So I really think pharmaceuticals have a lot of, because of the importance that we're relying on them for these vaccines. So I think there's a lot of upside, even though a lot of these pharmaceuticals are pretty inflated. I did put a lot into Johnson & Johnson recently. I do have Pfizer already, which is up a good amount. So I added Johnson & Johnson. So I think pharmaceuticals have lots of upside given the climate we're in. And they're pretty secure companies, especially like these giants like Merck and Pfizer. And I mean, these are just massive companies that just bring in. So they're not like too risky of investments. And I think if there's more push for vaccines, which it seems like there is, I just think there's just a lot of potential for them to grow even more. Baba, I put a lot into Baba recently. I sold the stupid stock I shouldn't have invested in. I sold that. I bought Baba. I gave in. And I'm up like 10% already on that Baba investment. What are you invested in, Noel? What's if you're comfortable talking about it?
Yeah, sure. Like I said earlier before the live stream, after the financial crisis of 2008, I became less active in the market. So any money I have is just sitting in S&P 500 index funds and other obscure investments, but nothing mainstream. I don't know. I just don't have. I had a bad taste in my mouth after, the 2008 financial crisis and, all the bailouts that came after. I don't know. I just don't feel real good about the investing atmosphere or environment, if you will. Especially if you consider the insider trading that our politicians are doing, and the federal pumping of money into the stock market. It really convolutes things. So it takes what you're doing, a very solid fundamental analysis, and it makes it not irrelevant, but it makes it a lot harder to discern where the market's going or where sectors or even individual stocks are going. But right now, for the past decade, stocks have been doing really well, and anyone who's been in the market has done very well. So I'm a little gun shy.
Everybody put into spiders. I have a lot in an S&P 500 index. You're probably not going to beat it. I don't know if I've beaten it. I mean, it would have just been easy to put everything in spiders and not worry. But we all try to hit that home run and get 5,000x on an investment. It's just not going to happen.
Right. No, trading is fun and exhilarating. I've been there, but I've also seen my fair share of market meltdowns. Well, two to be precise, and you kind of lose your taste for the trading markets, I guess.
Yeah, it's just no matter how much analysis and work you do, it's just you don't have a crystal ball. There's no way to predict these things. So it's okay to invest in like these crappy penny stocks, but don't put that much into it and assume you're going to lose it all.
Oh, right.
J-Bull, what's that?
Oh, no, I said, yeah, right. One of the keys to success in any financial market is diversification. So as long as one is diversified and maybe and I don't mean being in all stocks, a mix of, maybe stocks, money market accounts, real estate, alternative assets, maybe even crypto. That's your best bet.
Yeah. And Bitcoin is down, and I think it's a good time to buy Bitcoin. And I used to, for a long time, I thought it was a waste, but it just seems like it always goes up. Every time it comes down, every time there was these drops, I was like, I told you it was going nowhere. And then it goes way up, then it drops, then it goes way up. So it's probably going to keep going up. I mean,
yeah, no, I agree. It's richly valued, but long term, I mean, it's going to have its ups and downs, but I think long term, it is the de facto digital currency. It might even be the digital gold replacement, because look at what gold is doing. It should be doing a lot better than it's been performing, but it's been a dog for many years. And I think Bitcoin and other cryptos have stolen its thunder.
Yeah, I mean, you really haven't unless you caught it on the bottom here. Like you could have been in gold for a decade and not made any money. It's hard to make money on these types of commodities on a long-term basis. I mean, you might get lucky, but generally, there's not like companies like Microsoft or good companies just go up over time,
right?
Because they grow. But the commodity, it's just not, doesn't have that type of potential because
right. You've got to catch the super cycle, and get out before the commodity crash happens.
Yeah, it's just a different type of investment, and it's a good hedge maybe if you feel you're too invested in the market, and there's definitely a need for gold and a lot of these commodities, but it's not like a growing business like where it could always be growing. Not that every business always grows, but it does have a potential to continue growing as long as they stay ahead of the curve and build new products and do good job marketing. But gold, or any commodity it's not going to be like that. But yeah, I invest in ET, and I usually wouldn't invest in but I talk about it so much. I'm actually up like 10% already. But I bought Facebook recently. I bought Facebook, ET, Johnson & Johnson, and Intel. I'm up on Intel and ET a good amount. Energy was probably profitable for me. It's only what people will pay. It's like a pet rock. No, we have crazy accounting things on ISN, which I'm explaining. Okay, see ya, Justin.
What company is ISN?
I don't know. I don't know if it has a ticker. I think he's trying to say something. We have trouble explaining on ISN. Is that like an accounting thing?
No, maybe something stock network. I don't know, or a ticker symbol.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about.
But Scott, true story here. I bought Bitcoin in 2015. I actually have some old YouTube videos to back it up. But I had no patience, and I actually sold it probably 6 months later.
Yeah, it's hard to when you see something flat or even declining, you feel like it's never going to go up, and then you probably could have made a lot of money if you held on to it.
Right, most definitely. But at the same time, if I bought it at 500, if it doubled or tripled, I probably would have sold out at that point, taking the quick profits. Because who would have thought it would go to, 60,000 or whatever the high was?
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. But the thing is, people generally don't sell on Possible Stock News. That was just his channel, ISN.
Okay.
That makes sense. People generally don't sell at the right time, or buy at the right time. But yeah, people have a hard time selling. Like, they don't sell at the peak usually, and then when it starts coming down, they have a hard time selling also, because they're like, oh, it was 60. I can't sell at 50 because I could have sold at 60, but I didn't. And then it hits 40, and then it hits 37, and then once it starts coming back up again, they're like, okay, I got to sell. It's on an upswing. Like, so that's why I don't like investing in like things like Bitcoin, because I don't know when to sell. When I buy a stock, I generally don't sell it, because I figure the longer I hold it, the better.
Sure.
A good company, assuming I'm investing in a good company. But when you invest in like commodity or crypto, you just don't know. It's just based off of how much the last person sold it for.
Yeah, there's actually some good Bitcoin comments. Can I read these?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'll be right back. Just keep talking.
Sure. Anthony Rose says, no fundamentals on Bitcoin. I agree. There was another one here. No, Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. That's absolutely correct. But then again, fiat currencies really don't have much intrinsic value either. Brad Needleman says, when shit hits the fan, people will also be selling Bitcoin to cover all the margin out there. Everything will go on sale. That's true. That's true. But you also have to consider the Bitcoin holders, or the whales, if you will, are in, not in not too many hands. I've heard it's a small group of people who actually, own the majority of Bitcoin. Greed is not good, someone writes. Will the Fed create a cryptocurrency? M. Khan asks. I think that's a done deal. I think the Federal Reserve is going to issue a cryptocurrency. They want in on the action, I imagine. Richard Kainer writes, I think Bitcoin will be the first thing to go in the crash. I don't know, Richard. If the shit hits the fan and everyone's selling, and even in a currency crisis, look at what happened in, what was that country, that island next to Greece, when they had a currency crisis, they put their money in Bitcoin, and that's worked out for them.
Yeah, there was a country that exited Bitcoin recently. Was it Venezuela? They did Bitcoin, and then they country uses Bitcoin.
Yeah,
El Salvador. That was it.
Yeah, Venezuela's in the news because they're in a hyperinflationary environment, and what we're seeing a little bit of it here. You know, how are the prices out by you on, you know, things that you need?
Yeah, everything's going up.
Right.
So, I mean, I think investing in stocks, don't hold cash because inflation will eat up your cash.
Absolutely. That's right. If you have cash, you need to park it somewhere. In an inflationary environment like we're in. And I read an article a while back, and it talked about what people in Venice, what you can learn from the hyperinflation in Venezuela, and a lot of it was kind of obvious, but you know, you have to use your money right away to buy physical goods or assets. If you can own real estate, that's always a good hedge. Like Zodot just mentioned, park it in real estate. But then again, real estate is very richly valued right now. You know, I feel sorry for, you know, younger families just starting out having to buy a house because,
right,
you know, prices are very richly valued.
And if you have debt, inflation helps debt because it makes your debt,
makes it cheaper to pay down. Absolutely. So can we talk about this? Francisco Heredia.
Yeah.
Right. Why hasn't gold made upward moves? Question mark. And I have the same question, because gold is the traditional inflation hedge, but it has not been hedging anything. You know, it's been hovering around $1,800 an ounce for probably the last, I don't know, year and a half at least. So it makes you wonder, has gold lost its, you know, its ability to hedge against inflation?
Yeah, I question that too, because I always thought gold was a good hedge if you're heavy in stocks, buy gold, but sometimes I don't even see the benefit in that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it moves with stocks. I did make a good return on silver. I made 100%. I bought it at the market crash.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Brad Needleman also comments that the best investment is physical silver. And that's very interesting, Brad. I couldn't disagree with you there. Silver, even at today's prices, whatever it is at $22, it's historically cheap. It's very cheap. When was that, in the 80s, when the Hunt brothers tried to corner the market, it got as high as $50 per ounce, and we're still far away from $50 silver. And you've got a lot of people predicting $100 silver, $200 silver. You know, guys like Jim Butler argue that it's manipulated. And from his point of view, it's correct, I think, because when these financial markets can short, you know, 10 times, 20 times the amount of physical silver that's actually traded, you know, that's market manipulation. So
yeah, it's,
you know, I agree with you, Brad. It should be higher. I don't know why it isn't. And that's another reason I'm out of actively trading, because I couldn't figure out the market to save my life. I've had some luck in the past, but also some bad luck. So
I thought copper was going to be huge soon, because of all the importance with the EVs and things like that, and EV infrastructure. But it's funny, like you think like you figure it out, like you see a reason why something will go up, and you don't make money that way. You make money by kind of getting lucky, having to being something right before it jumps in price. Like it seems like the more analysis you do, like you need a lot of luck. That's on your side. Well, copper is up a lot.
yeah, I mean, I don't know where copper prices are, but with inflation and the need for base metals, I mean, it should be a strong investment, I would think, except maybe for a weakened economy. Maybe the demand for it isn't as strong as it should be. Okay, so Francisco Heredia comments, physical silver has a 50% premium on top of the spot price. So that's true. I have seen that in the past. So if the spot price is $22, if you want to buy a silver American Eagle, you're paying $30 to $35 depending on where you're going. So for me, that indicates that that's closer to where the true price is, what it actually costs you to get it on the market.
I wonder why it trades at such a premium.
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
I don't get that.
Makes you wonder. Right?
I thought commodities, the whole purpose of them was it's the same price wherever we go, assuming it's the same type of grade and things like that. It shouldn't differ in price.
Right. Well, for minted coins, there's the premium for, I guess the processing. You have, I know silver American Eagles go for a higher premium than, just the standard non-US mint silver coins. I forget what they're called.
Right.
Silver rounds, that's what they're called. Silver rounds. Thank you, Francisco.
Silver rounds. Yeah, I'm doing a video on well, it's gold company. The largest gold mining company in Russia, Polyus. The thing is, whenever you look at other countries, especially certain countries, like it just seems like everything's undervalued. But when you take into account the country risk premium, they don't have as much. Like if you put like a company in the U.S. that was another country, the stock price would be double, triple what it is. But the fact that it's in a certain country, it'll never. It's always going to be capped. Especially like in China these days, everything's trading at a discount because people are concerned about the government. Coinbase in exchange for almost all crypto and is making a profit. Great dividend. Coinbase. Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to get into crypto, Coinbase. This guy, the CEO of this company, it's called BTCS. It's a Bitcoin mining company. He actually did a live stream with me. His stock is up like over like 200% the past week.
Wow.
Wait.
So they're a Bitcoin miner.
It was $3 on January 4th, and now it broke through 8. Yeah, they mine Bitcoin and Ethereum. They do staking too. They have a staking platform. But the reason the stock went up so much is because then they're giving a Bitcoin dividend. It's called a dividend. The first company to do this. Dividend. BTCS. Why is the dividend issuer skyrocketing today? It's interesting. Like, are you familiar with like staking?
A little bit. I know it's the process to verify transactions on the blockchain. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's a way you can earn more. It's kind of, I think of it like getting interest on the money in your bank account. It's kind of like you get more Bitcoin by staking your current Bitcoin. You're not going to probably get that much, but if you have a ton of Bitcoin and you stake it, then you generate more Bitcoin. Or, well, not Bitcoin, but Ethereum. Well, I don't think you could stake Bitcoin, but Ethereum and I forgot the other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, some analysts have bad reviews. Oh, really? Bad reviews for BTCS? I haven't read that. He was a nice guy. I wanted to actually buy it, like right before the stock doubled or tripled. I was about to buy it because I had money to buy things, but I didn't because I'm like, this is never goes up, and then it goes up like 200% in a week.
You know what's crazy, Scott, is the amount of energy required to mine Bitcoin.
Oh, it's crazy.
And I don't know how that can continue to be sustainable.
You need like enough electric to power like 10,000 homes to mine. Like it's just the amount of like money you have to spend on your energy bill would just wipe away any money you could possibly make from mining Bitcoin these days. Maybe 7-8 years ago you could have mined Bitcoin with having a few $1,000s of equipment, but now you can't do it. You need like these massive warehouses of computers. But it's getting close to the end of mining. Like they mine most of it, I think, right? Isn't like 95% of it been mined already?
Yeah, something like that. What's the cap on Bitcoin? 60 million or something like that?
Yeah. So it takes more energy now than it used to mine it. So it's just, that's why you have these companies popping up that's what they do is mine Bitcoin. That's what the entire company is. They IPO, they raise like $50 million from IPOing so they can buy computers and the necessary machines in order to mine it. Because you can't just have a computer these days do it. I would just buy the coin directly. Looks poised reversal. AUCOI. Polymetal. Square is good. Are you invested any? I know a lot of people like oil and gas stocks on this channel. Are you? Do you look for dividend stocks, or do you not care about that?
For me, no, I'm not invested in oil and gas stocks. But they do pay healthy dividends, that's for sure. And
They do.
and with I don't know where crude oil is, but I mean with higher crude oil prices, which I imagine we're going to be in a a high crude oil price environment for the foreseeable future.
Right.
It would do well for oil and gas stocks for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely bullish oil and gas for the next few years. I think there's still a lot of upside, and I don't see renewables affecting the demand for it for a long time.
I agree.
Maybe I should do a video on AUCO, Gazprom. Yeah, I've done Gazprom.
I was going to say that I agree on oil and gas. They're not making any more of it, right?
What do you mean? They're not making more of oil and gas?
Right, because it's a natural resource.
Right. Eventually, oh, Tesla. What's your thoughts on Tesla? Brad just talked about that. I know that's a hot stock. Do you think it's worth it, or do you think it's totally inflated?
Well, it's been richly valued for a long time, but it's been paying, dividends, so to speak, to its shareholders. I wouldn't bet against Elon Musk.
It's made a lot of people millionaires.
Yeah, I mean, electric cars are the way of the future. Electric personal vehicles are the way of the future. And, they're in the sweet spot. But at the same time, you've got a lot of other companies entering the space. Subaru, Chevy, or General Motors.
Yeah, Ford. It kills me. I was gonna buy Ford like $4. I was talking to somebody about it. I'm like, I guess if I invested in everything I wanted to, it would be impossible, because we always say, "Oh, I want to do this and that." But I guess I'll do another raffle. I usually do 2 per session. We're back up to 20 people. So let me know if you're here so I can put you in a raffle. Okay. Justin, Brad, so dot. Thomas, Richard. Just say I'm here if you want to be in a Matthew, Ed, Con, Mike.
Just remember, everybody, these $20 Amazon gift cards are taxable income to you.
Yeah, it's taxable. Make sure you report it on your taxes. Mike Brophy, Justin. Okay. Anybody else here? So the 18 people in the chat, it's only have 11 people in here. Elon didn't take profits after exercising his new options.
Didn't he sell a bunch of stock, or was he just talking about that?
Yeah, he sold. Didn't he? Yeah, I thought he sold like
Thousands of shares.
Yeah, like billions of. Okay, so I'll do. Anybody? Maria. Okay, so I'll do the first randomizer. 1, Noel, it's you.
Oh wow.
I'll do the second one. 13. How is it? Maybe I had like a space in there. It shouldn't be picking up 13.
Oh, okay. So Brad says that Elon Musk sold 11 million to pay taxes, exercised options for 13.5 million more shares. Okay. Thanks for the information.
Yeah, because I remember he was talking about that they may start taxing people on unrealized gains, and there's no way he can afford to pay like $20 billion in taxes without selling his stock, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think that's in the bill that the Democrats are trying to pass, the Build Back Better bill. But
that would be terrible if they built taxable on unrealized gains, because.
But there's one Democrat who's against it, and I think his name's Manchin. And without his support, it's going nowhere. Which, I guess is a good thing. I don't think we need. I think we have enough regulations.
Yeah, it would cause so much volatility in the market because people would have to sell in order to pay the taxes, and it would just create this whole.
Oh, it would tank the financial markets.
Yeah, it would just wouldn't make sense, and it would be such a
Manchin
complex.
Cinema, Saving America. Richard Kaner writes.
Okay, I'll do a randomizer again. 4, Zodot. You have to get picked twice. It's not if you get picked, you have to get picked twice to win. 14, Anani 1. 12, Maria. What's that?
So Tomas writes, the Hyperloop is the stupidest thing in the world. I saw an example of the Hyperloop from a video from the recent CES show in Vegas, and it actually looked pretty cool. It was a mini Hyperloop they had underneath the convention center.
The Hyperloop. I'm not sure. I haven't seen that.
It's an underground tunnel for Tesla self-driving cars.
Interesting. Okay, I'll do another one. 5, Thomas. 12, Maria. So Maria, didn't you email me once thinking you won, but you didn't win? Was that you? So Maria, you actually won this time. Congratulations. So make sure you email me down here. Who was it? So Maria won, and it was like J something won in the beginning. J Boy. Let me write that down. So Maria and J Boy. Nice job. So Noel, you have to go?
Yeah, I've got to run. But Scott, it's been a lot of fun, and I appreciate you having me on your live stream. And thanks to your audience for checking us out.
Yeah, I hope it was a good first stream for you. It's good to break the ice, and hopefully you'll be doing live streams.
Yeah, definitely sometime in the future. If anyone wants to check out my channel, it's my name, Noel B. Lorenzana, CPA. I talk about taxes for individuals and simplifying taxes for entrepreneurs. And if you have any tax questions, feel free to jump on any video comments. I'd be happy to, I try to answer all of them.
Yeah, definitely check out his channel. I left a link in the description of the video, but you can just search his name, Noel Lorenzana.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. Leaving the channel link in the comments. I really do appreciate that. I'm trying to grow my channel, and every little bit helps.
Definitely. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Appreciate your time. Okay.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
See ya. Yeah, everybody, make sure you sub to Noel. We didn't really talk about many tax questions, but that's fine. I thought it's kind of boring talking about tax questions. Anyway. But yeah, watch the video I did on GoPro. It's really confusing because if you look at their financials, you would think they're doing, things are turning around for the company. Like they had net income in the third quarter of $310 million, which is like more net income than they had for the past 20 quarters. They probably had actually averaging negative net income for the past 20 quarters. But without trying to understand the nuances of accrual accounting, you could just look at the statement of cash flows to get an idea of how the company's doing. Don't even look at the income statement. You could see they generate $67 million of cash flow in the third quarter, which is good. It's not like they knocked out of the park, but so just look at operating cash flow. But yeah, I'm working on. I thought there's something. Oh, I started a Patreon. I don't know if anybody saw that. I started a Patreon today. I thought that. Did everybody see that video on this cannabis stock? It's 25 cents a share. Tilt Holdings. Yeah, I did the Patreon today. Yeah, you could look in the comment section if you want to get Noel's link to Noel's channel. I can't remember. There was something I was going to ask. I can't remember what it was. Anybody see BBIG? Remember I did a video on ATI Physical. It's a REIT. It was up 23% the other day. It's just been getting killed. Look at it just never gone anywhere. All these SPACs, did I say REIT before? All these SPACs, they have the same exact, they all look the same. They fall off a cliff. Waiter just looks a little more like if you expand almost every SPAC is the same. Like you see it jumps up way up when an IPO, and then it just drops like a rock. What's going on? These shipping companies, these dividends, 16%. I did a video, I think, on 2 shipping companies this week. Star Bulk Carriers. I think it's SBLK. 22% dividend. That's crazy, right? And NOP. This is 13%. But it's funny when I have to email somebody does my thumbnails. So I usually email them like a week before to what to say on the thumbnails. And when I emailed them initially, the stock was down here, like a week or two ago, it was down here. So it had like a 16% dividend. Because if you look at the thumbnail, it says 16% dividend. But when I actually made the video, it went down to 12% because the stock went up. That's how volatile these stocks are. I can't even wait a week. Everything just changes. Okay, Zoda, see you later. Thanks for joining. But yeah, I don't know if they can continue paying these massive dividends. But what was the company? Is it not? Yeah, not. Can you check Henkel? Look at not. Look how consistent. Look at their revenue. It's like, look how flat the revenue is. It's exactly 279 million almost every year. You don't see that with shipping companies. Usually it's really volatile, the financials. So maybe not might be a good investment. Henkel's, that's a knife company, right? Does anybody know Henkel's, the knife company? When I was in college, I used to sell knives door to door. You might have heard of this. A lot of people work at this company, Vector Marketing. They hire pretty much only college kids for like summer jobs. And you go to your family and friends and you sell them knives. Well, we're talking about Henkel. Henkel's a German knife company. I mean, they sell other things. Oh, you sold? Yeah, Richard, you sold Cutco? They're great knives. I still have my Homemaker. Is that what it is? Homemaker +8? Yeah, Knop looks really good, right? Yeah, They had like the most expensive knives. I remember when I used to sell Cutco, because we used to compare them to Henkel's, and we used to say, "Look at Henkel's. This is $2,000 for Henkel's, and then Cutco is $800." But they are really the best knives. It's wait, Henkel's Consumer Goods Company. But they do sell knives. Why are you saying they're not? I'm not saying that's all they do, but they do sell knives. Oh, I see what you're saying. It's a different Henkel's. They're spelled differently. Henkel. Oh, it's okay. They're spelled differently, so I guess. But if you worked at Vector, Vector Marketing, it used to be called Alcoa. Well, the parent company is Alcoa. Alcoa, the massive aluminum, the metals company. Kind. Next door. Jeez, what a crappy company Next Door is. They really struggled, right? Next Door. They were really popular when they first came out. They haven't really been. That's not a SPAC. It doesn't look like a SPAC. Yeah, I don't know about Next Door. I mean, the revenue's gone up. They make money from selling ad space on their website, right? I don't know about Next Door stuff. Yeah, I don't. Do people know Next Door, right? People have Next Door. Most neighborhoods have it, right? I think it's a good idea, but I don't know. I don't think it's a good stock. I just can't imagine. I don't think it's a well-run company. It just doesn't seem. It seems like they have a lot of problems. J. Henkel is a German knife maker. So this is a private company, J. A. Henkel, right? It's probably a private company. What a stock. Alibaba. That's a good stock. Alibaba. So this is like, if this was a US company, it would be $1 trillion. It would be over $1 trillion, definitely, market cap. So it has about 110 billion, 115 billion US dollars of revenue. 115 billion. Let's see Amazon. Okay, it's a lot smaller than Amazon. Okay, maybe it wouldn't be $1 trillion. Maybe be like 800 billion. Alibaba. Alibaba uses Alipay, which is like 20 times the size of PayPal in terms of transactions. Beam? Well, it's 120 million market cap. That's probably why. Wow, look at that. Sheesh. It was over 70. Look how low it was. 70. Over 70 at the end of December. So right after COVID, a few months after COVID is when it peaked. Beam. So it was close to $1 billion market cap. I mean, what kind of company is it? Oh, solar. This is like 7 million of revenue. That's like a restaurant down the street gets that much revenue. That's hardly any revenue for a. It's worth a watch given what. Yeah, GPN. That's a good company. What a. I hate it. Yahoo is so slow lately. It has hardly any liabilities, which is good. That's hardly any revenue. That's so small of a company. 7 million. I mean, 7,128,000 over 7. So it's like 15 PE. 15 price sales. 26. 8. Wait, what's it? 128. Wait, how could it be 28? Even Oh, maybe they're doing 6 million. How do they get price sales of 26? Wait. 128 million. Come on. Okay. $7.7 million. $16. Yeah. This is why you look at these websites. You see price of sales of 26. Meanwhile, it's 17. It's a big difference. When you're making your investment decision, how do they get market cap? Oh, they're using a 208 million market cap. Am I missing something? It says 128 million. How do they get 208 million? Was it that? It hasn't been 200 million. Oh, I see. On January 4th. Okay. That doesn't make sense. Solar. $17 price sales. It is 17. $17. Okay. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't. I don't know why they have such a crazy high price sales. But anyways, what was everybody saying? ABCT, waste management, DVD. You still use DVDs? They make DVD players, waste management? Activision Blizzard. I did a video on Activision Blizzard, right? Yeah. Waste management, yeah, that's a really good company. That's a good industry to invest in, waste management. That's a lot of money to be made in waste management. I think it was a long time to this one. We're going to calculate cost of equity in May 2020. For the free cash flows. So this is my first month, May 2020. I did waste management. It's come up a lot. Casella. Yeah, that video didn't get many views. I don't look at a dividend really at all. I mean, I look at the company as a whole. This person made a stupid comment in a video because I said it in a video. What company was it? I don't know. Whatever company. So they paid a 5% dividend, and I said, so mathematically the stock will go down 5%. At least. I mean, it's possible the stock goes down more than 5%. It's possible the stock goes up. But if they didn't pay that dividend, the stock would be 5% higher. And a guy, hey Ram, what's up? I'll see you later. Thanks for coming. Yeah, you could just look on any video I post. It has my Patreon and my Discord in the information. And he got all annoyed. He's like, what are you talking about? The stock mathematically goes down 5%. The stock price has nothing to do with the dividend. It's all based off of supply and demand. I mean, people, yeah, the stock is based off of supply and demand, but when you pay a dividend, you're taking that money out of the company and paying it to your shareholders. Regardless, the money's leaving the company, so the company's worth 5% less than what it was worth before they pay that dividend. So I don't think people understand that when you receive a dividend, you're not getting free money. You're losing out on a stock appreciating. It's that guy. Wait, the guy on my live stream earlier, or the guy I'm talking about right now? So I sent him I sent him a link to Investopedia, and I said, since you're not going to listen to me, here's on Investopedia. It says this. I quoted like where it said in Investopedia. because if you have an asset and you remove cash from that asset, it has to be worth less, right? That's why when you get a dividend paying stock, you generally the stock price generally doesn't go up that much. It doesn't go up nearly as much as a non-dividend paying stock. So like that's part of like the part of your return is a dividend. So you have to factor that in to see how much money you make. Because if a stock say it pays 5% annual dividend, if the stock goes if it's flat for the year, you made 5% your return because you already got paid at 5%. If the stock goes down 5%, the stock price, you're flat for the year. You made nothing because you got your 5% dividend and the stock price went down 5%. You know, unrealized. I mean, you don't lose anything until you sell it. But I'm just saying. But I think people don't really connect the fact that you're investing in a company. They think you're investing in like against other people. Like you're not really investing in like an asset that generates cash flows. You're investing with someone else. You're hoping someone pays you more than you paid for the stock. They're not thinking of it like an actual company. They're thinking of it kind of like buying crypto, where you're just hoping you're able to sell it to someone for more than you bought it for, even though it's worth nothing. There's no intrinsic value to crypto or any currency, even a dollar bill, even like an American like $20 bill, or there's no intrinsic value. You're just the next person's willing to pay you. I think a lot of people like the cash flow dividends provide, and yeah, I get that. I don't think anything's wrong with that, investing in dividends. But I think people don't really get the fact that it's not like you're if they didn't pay that dividend, you would have gotten the benefit by the stock price going up. It's not like but what other stocks were people just talking about? It's just, and I don't mind people who don't understand things. There's nothing wrong with saying something that doesn't make sense, but it's so annoying when people try to like ridicule, like talk down to me and go, what are you talking about? The stock is, but they don't know what they're talking about 9 out of 10 times. They just try to like cut you down because it makes them look like they're smarter by kind of like, because if you kind of like call someone out and like go, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking, like it makes them feel like an authority figure, like they're better than you by. But almost every time someone try to like kind of cut me down and talk negatively, almost every time they were wrong, which is ironic. What's ironic? What does ironic mean? That's a Seinfeld joke. If anybody watches Seinfeld, when Elaine was on the subway. She's like, it's ironic that, and the woman's like, what's ironic? And then Elaine's like explaining what she meant by ironic, and the woman's like, no, what does the word ironic mean? That was an early episode. That was like, I think, second season maybe. I bought Intel. Let me I'll bring up my, it's Seinfeld, the best show. Let me bring up my portfolio. I did make some changes. I was thinking of just putting everything in Facebook. I'm like, why am I trying to like figure out, just, that's the only stock that I'm confident in, that I feel like I feel if I had to put all my money to a stock, it would be Facebook. See you, Brad. So I added to my Facebook. I doubled up on Facebook. I added Johnson & Johnson. I added ET, which is kind of like a little risk for me, but I did it anyway. And Intel. But ET, I'm up 11%, and it's only been, I don't have the date. The one that's killing me is Accelera, but I put the least in it. I only put 10,000 in Accelera. My Kraft Heinz is finally flat, but I'm up 100% on Facebook on my original investment. I put 50 in, and it went up to 100, and then I doubled up Facebook. But I was thinking, why don't I just put everything in Facebook? Like, but then I'm like, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's just too risky. Cause I'm so, maybe I'm just in love with Facebook, because I bought it at the IPO in 2012, and I made like 400%, and I rebought it again. Like, I guess when you make money with a stock, you fall in love with it, and you think, okay, this can't lose. But I bought S&P and Berkshire both in 2017, and you see, I could have just put it into S&P. I would have done better. I mean, it is coming. Berkshire used to be well behind the S&P index. It used to be much, but now it's closing the gap a little bit. But I'll do when I do my 30,000 sub review, I'll show all my other portfolios too. What are your MCW? But this is what limit your downside. Like, don't try to get a 2,000x return, or try to limit your downside. That's the goal to investing, I think, is not losing money or losing as little as possible. Oh, yeah, Alibaba. I got Alibaba also. What was the other one? MCW? Mr. Car Wash. Personal services. Tucson, Arizona. 6,400 employees. Thank you, Charles. That's really nice. Costco is my other. I have Costco in my other portfolio. That's my second favorite company. If I could only put my money into one company, it would be either Facebook or Costco. That's like, yeah, people like always write these comments like, if you're so confident about the stock, like you say, why don't you put money into it? Or you don't know what you're talking about. Or you don't know, like you can't invest in everything. You have to whatever you have the most conviction with, and you know I've taken some risks. In my 20s, I invested a lot differently. I was crazy in my 20s. I did everything, options. But when you hit a certain, when you obtain a certain dollar amount, you have to like start investing a little more. Oh, this just IPO'd. And wait, it's a SPAC? No, it's not a SPAC. Wait, is it? No. People acting silly. This is not a SPAC, right? It doesn't look like one. Mr. Carr. See the when you want it, when I don't trade options much. I think it's kind of, I don't see as much upside, but options are good. Charles brings up a good point. Options are good if you want to make some money, or maybe if you think a stock may go down and you don't want to sell, because if you sell within a year, it's a taxable event, right? And you might have to pay the higher tax rate. So selling some options is a smart move. That's one of the few times I could justify selling options. If you don't want to sell the stock, because then you have to pay taxes. That's probably one of the few times I would say options are smart. But outside of that, yeah, I think covered calls are fine. I wouldn't do them anymore. I used to do cover calls a lot. That's how I lost my Facebook. I bought Facebook at the IPO, and I sold covered calls in 2014, I think. No. Yeah, I bought. No, it was like 2015 or 16, and I lost. They got taken away because it went up too much. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't invest in this Mr. Car Wash. I don't think. Yeah, the way I think about businesses, I try to like think about like what's easily scalable. And I don't see a business like this easily scalable. Like any technology company is usually scalable. There's a lot of operational things going on. I mean, I'd have to learn about the options are too expensive. But yeah, I can't see car washes being a good investment. This is the type of company that went public just so the people who started the company could monetize their investment. Because that's generally why a lot of people. There's two reasons people IPO. They want to get paid. They have a long 10, 15, 20 years trying to build a company, and they really haven't made much from it. So they sell the company, or they want to scale and grow and they need funds to do it. What is the pie chart breakdown a percentage sector of your long stock portfolio? Well, I just showed you like half my portfolio. I don't have many stocks. It's just maybe like a dozen stocks. Probably half my money is in index funds, like S&P or some other index funds. But individual stocks, I just have maybe a dozen. You never know, though. You never know with a company like this. I'm not saying it's a bad investment. I'm just saying I don't see as much upside. But then again, a company like this, you're probably not going to lose a ton of money. Like with these companies like AbCellera, like these pharmaceutical companies that are down like 70%. Like you just get. I'm still on Mr. Car Wash. This is like it's kind of a guaranteed revenue stream coming in when you own a car wash. I mean, there's a little safety in that respect, but I think the upside is pretty limited and the downside is also fairly limited too. Yeah, I think I'm going to buy AbCellera on Monday. I'm going to sell like 10,000 of my Johnson & Johnson and buy AbCellera. SG Blocks, 22 million. We could probably buy this if we pooled our money together. We could buy the company. Look at this. When you see this, like that, what does anybody know why? Like, I know why, just by looking at this, how this happened. Why did it go from 100 down to 2? There's pretty much only one thing that could have happened. Does anybody know why this went down 90%? No, not a reverse merge, reverse stock split. Exactly. That's the only thing. Reverse merger is when a private company buys a public company. That's what reverse merger is. Because if you're a private business and you want to go public, you want access to the capital markets, and the easiest way to do it is just to buy a public company. Yeah, you were close. You were one word off. No, but you had the right idea. SGBX. They did a 1-for-20 reverse stock split in 2020. I think if you follow these rules, you'll save lots of money. And I'm not saying it's 100%, but don't invest in a company that ever did a reverse stock split. Don't invest in a SPAC. If you're going to make more money than you're going to lose if you just avoid. And I'm not saying there's been companies that did reverse stock splits that turned it around and became successful companies, but that's one out of every like 500 companies. The other 499 go away. Why do people do forward stock splits or reverse stock splits? Because there's different reasons for each. I mean, the reason people do reverse stock splits 99% of the time is because they don't want to get delisted. The stock, okay, the stock, they did it right here in December. So we have to divide this by 20. What is it? Like, is that 40? They were like trading on probably like 40 cents. And if you're trading below $1, you may get delisted. So they did a 24 in reverse stock split and brought the stock price up here. So they don't get delisted. That's why people do a reverse stock split. But a regular stock split, people do regular stock splits because the stock price is getting too high. And it just makes it more affordable. If a stock price is like $500 a share, some people just can't even afford one share. So to bring it down to $50, it's more kind of reasonable. People rather have 10 shares, 10 $50 shares than one $500 share. Psychologically, they'd rather have, it makes them feel better. GE reverse stock split. All right. But does anybody know why Berkshire stock price is so high? Or forget about Berkshire. Why is Chipotle stock price so high? Wow, that helps. But that's not why. It's because no, I mean, a lot of people, there's a lot of companies bigger than Berkshire. Apple's the biggest company in the world, and the stock price is a lot smaller than it's 173. I mean, they're the largest company, but their stock price is much lower than Chipotle. Why is Chipotle the nominal stock price? I'm not talking about the market cap. Because I'm sure they IPO'd at $20 like most companies do. Come on. It's just because they never did a stock split. That's the only reason their stock price is so high. And same thing with Berkshire. They never did a stock split. Because if Apple never did a stock split, they did lots of stock splits. Their share price, it would be like 50,000 a share or something like that. But they kept doing stock splits. So if you had one share of Apple at $500, after the stock split, you have 10 at 50. Because look, 16 billion shares outstanding. Like when they that's a lot of shares, right? 16 billion. Like when you IPO, you have like a couple 100 million, but it kept growing. Every time they split. I would stay away from PayPal. I can't. Sometimes you can't explain things. You just have a gut feeling. I feel that with PayPal for some reason. I don't feel comfortable with the company. I don't know why. They do own what's it called? Venmo. Maybe they'll be okay because they own Venmo, but I don't think PayPal is kind of stagnant. Venmo is really the growth part of the business. And PayPal's kind of SFT. Okay, another rule. I'll add a third rule to investing. Don't invest in anything under $1 billion market cap. You probably should stay under anything under 100 billion, but at least nothing under $1 billion. You'll save a lot more money than you're going to gain in the long run. Well, that's a pretty big growth, 200 million to 500 million. See, this is a normal company. Look, like 500 million revenue. We were looking at Agov. We were looking at a company earlier and had 7 million of revenue. What company was that we were looking at? But that's a lot. That's a lot of revenue. They have a really good price sales ratio. 0.65. How do they have? Oh, it was a SPAC. Yeah, you missed a lot. This is why every SPAC, it looks like this. It starts at 10, shoots up, and then it crashes. It seems like these are just kind of made up companies, these SPACs, that are they're just putting these fake companies out there and people are investing in it. And then they just go away. It's got to be like 10% of the SPACs are successful. Almost every SPAC, it just looks like they just crash. Within a year. But this company has a lot of revenue. They have, look at that. They have $233 million of cash, which is more than their market cap. It doesn't even make sense. Like, where did they get these? Like, how does this happen? Like you get these companies that are like that are trading like 50 times above cash or 100 times above revenue, and you get a company like this that's trading below cash. They have more cash than the company's worth. Like, it doesn't even make sense. And it'll probably sit like this for years without ever moving. I got to add this to my list. It buys and sells used cars. That's right near me. I'm going to go. I want to go to this place, see if it's a legit company. It buys and sells used cars. Now, I know it's legit. I'm kind of joking. But it just doesn't make sense. There's so many SPACs. and it's all the same thing. But how do they have so much cash? It's from the IPO? I guess it's from the IPO. Yeah, they accounts payable. Okay. Oh, they have convertible note. I didn't see that. 144 million convertible notes. That's not terrible, but that's probably where they got the part of the cash from. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like they got from IPOing, they got a lot of fresh capital, but I don't know. How did they grow so much from 50 million to 150 million? Did they acquire a company? Um, how did they? This is the SPAC, Insurance Acquisition Corp. Acquired. The font is rather tiny for us. You should consider zooming. Well, you just look on the where the stock's traded. Mr. Black, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. SPACs always start at $10 a share. So when it looks like this, a flat $10 for either a few months or a few years, it's a SPAC. But you could. That's how I know right away. But it talks about the company that acquired them in this report, Insurance Acquisition Corp. The public company resulting from the merger was named ship. They don't actually say the word SPAC, do they? They probably. I don't know if they actually used the term. Maybe they do. It's, It's really bombed up. God, it just seems like they create these companies and people throw all this money into it, and then it just tanks, and then everybody's left holding the bag. I just wouldn't touch it. I mean, like I said, don't invest in SPACs. You'll save a lot of money. It's probably highly traded. Yeah. How's it? Okay, I guess I'm gonna get off. So yeah, thanks for joining. I'll see you next Saturday. You leave a comment. It's legal money laundering. Exactly. That's what a SPAC is. It's money laundering. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I got your email, J-Boy. I'll do that video.